This is the Fifth Star Podcast. I'm Jamie.
And I'm Albert.
And this is a podcast where we're trying to find our next 5-star movie. And when we find that movie, this podcast will fall in the forest.
And will it even make a sound? All right, so on this episode, we are reviewing Train Dreams, which is Oscar nominated. It tells a story of a logger in the early 1900s leading a quiet life.
Mm-hmm.
And we wrote down secretly what we rated this movie. We'd like to try to guess what we think each other gave it. Because this is a very poetic movie, and I know how much you like poems, I'm going to guess you gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars.
Ooh,
I'm going big.
Nice.
It's Olympic season right now.
Yeah,
so
go big or go home.
going,
I was going to guess, so I know you don't normally like poetic movies, but you do appreciate good cinematography. So I'm going to say you gave it a 3.5.
Okay, 3.5.
I feel like that's a good gamble. I don't know.
Okay, so we will first give our initial spoiler-free thoughts, then we'll reveal our scores, and then we'll get into more spoilers.
Yes.
So, was I right? Did you love this movie because it's so poetic?
I mean, it was really poetic, and I have been thinking about it since watching it.
Okay,
so
good. I might be on the right track here.
I think you're pretty close.
Okay.
But yeah, I think really what was so stunning about this was the cinematography.
I agree.
Just every frame was like a great photograph that you could just put on your wall. That's how I felt anyway. I was like, I would put this up on my wall because it's just pretty to look at.
Yeah.
All the lighting. I mean, he maybe overdid the golden hour.
No.
He like clearly only shot the movie at sunset and sunrise.
That's
That's
the
it.
way every movie or any video should be shot. I mean, we
Or
should be shooting
maybe
this outside during golden hour.
They're in Idaho, I think, right? Maybe in
remember.
Idaho it's just perpetually golden hour.
Yeah,
and
the sun's always setting or rising.
I mean, it was beautiful, so
It
I don't
was.
fault it. I don't fault it at all.
Yeah.
He really did a cool job with all the silhouette shots too. Like I loved the sun being like right behind him and he's just like crushed in shadow, but I loved it.
Yeah.
And we've been talking a lot about that. I don't know if we've done it on camera so much, but just how movies today are kind of afraid to do harsh lighting.
Yeah.
Like
Everything's super soft, evenly lit,
flat.
Yeah.
So I liked that this movie it felt like more real because it was like direct light.
Yeah. They're outdoors.
Yeah.
They're in the forest. They're chopping wood, right?
Yeah.
So embracing the fact that like natural lighting isn't always super soft. And like having those shadows, having the silhouettes, but even indoors, like in the cabin and that kind of stuff, like candlelit and just lighting coming from outdoors and not needing to like fill in all the shadows.
Yes.
Yeah, it made it feel very natural.
It makes you feel more like you're in the environment with them.
Yeah.
You get more of the textures. I also loved that like he was dirty the whole time. He had stuff on his face and they weren't afraid to make him look messy, and it just gives you an element of authenticity.
Yeah.
That a lot of movies are kind of lacking. Like they're afraid to make actors look ugly or dirty or anything. So
yeah, and I totally agree about the cinematography. It was stunning.
yeah.
And not only did it look amazing, but they did it in like a narrower aspect ratio. So normally, you have the widescreen 16:9 or even wider. This one was a 3:2, so not quite 4:3.
Right.
But still more restrictive. And it's really hard. Like we shoot videos and stuff. Like it's really hard to frame for that. You have less negative space to play with. But they were still able to make it aesthetically so pretty. The compositions.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because that 3:2 aspect ratio is like a photography aspect ratio.
Yeah.
So they did it to evoke that kind of looking at old photographs kind of feeling. So the fact that you kind of say like, oh, these look like photographs, like these
or paintings.
images. Yeah, or paintings. It was very much intentional. And, it also was meant to evoke like the idea or feeling of like memories as you look back at photographs. And I think that makes sense with like the VO narration that they kind of have at parts, especially in the beginning, but also like the golden hour thing. Like when you think back to poignant moments in your past, usually it's during golden hour in your head, right? Like the sun was just right. It was gleaming. It was perfect.
Yeah.
So it almost
The
kind of
color.
works. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, okay, you brought up the narration, and I
Mhm.
kind of am curious, like, how do you feel about that?
So I really liked it in the beginning.
Yeah.
I think it just like set just the right tone and vibe.
Mm-hmm.
It's I did. I'm glad they didn't overdo it.
Yeah.
Like it seemed like they toned it down. I will talk in spoilers. There is one point where a narration comes in that I thought kind of ruined something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But that was more for the content sake.
Yeah.
But I did like how they pulled back on it, and then once you get introduced and kind of come in through the voiceover into like these memories,
Yeah.
you are able to just like track without as much of needing the VO to keep you moving through like
yeah.
the story.
I agree.
So I thought that was like a good choice that they made.
I think like
Did you-
narration is so hard to get right
Mm,
because you're towing the line between being cheesy or overdoing it
yeah.
or being too poetic. Those are like the
Mm.
two spectrums. It's like too cheesy, too poetic.
Mm-hmm.
I think, first of all, the narrator, he has such a great voice and it was like perfect for the tone.
Mm-hmm.
So that helped a ton. I think for the most part, the narration for me was written in such a way that it felt like a storybook.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked that. So I actually thought the narration probably helped this movie more than it hurt it.
Mm.
And that's kind of where I land on narration.
Mm-hmm.
It's either going to help the movie tell a deeper story or it's just going to make it more on the nose.
Yeah.
Ultimately I liked it.
Okay. I mean, I think the other danger with narration is oftentimes like you're doing too much exposition.
Right.
And so you're not following the golden rule of show, don't tell. You're just
Right.
telling and not showing.
Exactly.
But here, because it's really more of the narration is the poetry,
Mm-hmm.
you're not using it for because it's really like it's giving meaning and emphasis to the images
Yeah.
with like the poetry and poetic thoughts and phrases that are being you're listening to as you're looking at these images. So I think that's why it works here better.
And he's such a quiet, recluse character that you almost need that extra context. I'll give another example. I watched another movie called Small Things Like These, starring Cillian Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
And I read the book first, and the movie doesn't have any narration. And so you have no idea what's going on in his head.
Yeah.
You have to rely fully on Cillian Murphy's performance. And you miss a lot from what was in the book.
Got it.
And I think that could have been a movie that, I mean, maybe that's a hot take, but I think that movie could have benefited from a narrator.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
mean,
like,
yeah, because that's like the major difference between books and movies and why adaptations don't always go so well. Because, yeah, like in a book, you are privy to all those thoughts
yeah,
in a main protagonist, in what's going on in their head. But in a movie, like you're really trying to avoid having to use or lean too much on VO. And you really need to show what they're thinking through their actions as they're put in different situations. And when there's a movie that like this, there's not always something happening.
right.
Now, that definitely changes as the story unfolds, but especially in the first third of it, like he's just kind of, you're seeing little vignettes of his slice of life.
Yeah.
And it is kind of hard to know like what he's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So like the narration does give you more of an insight, and so it works there.
Yeah.
Now, this made me think of a different movie that I watched recently, which is the Korean movie No Other Choice.
Which I haven't seen.
Yeah, but there's a similar kind of thematic thing happening between this movie and that movie, which is like this whole like man versus nature thing. So there's that kind of theme happening. There's like a old versus new, and the movement of technology, and is that good or bad kind of thing happening. Because even in No Other Choice, like the story's about a guy who makes paper. He works for a paper company, and paper is so like such an old analog thing now, right? And as the world is digitizing and all this kind of stuff, like the paper industry is being impacted. Not only that, like you even see in that movie, but especially highlighted here, where all these trees to make that paper was cut down by manual labor.
Yeah.
Now being replaced by chainsaws, and which chainsaws,
giant machines.
yeah, but more machines. And then in No Other Choice, you see like the impact of AI in that process also, where you'll just
interesting
remove like a whole factory and just replace it with like one guy to run a whole AI thing, you know? So those kinds of themes. And then, you know, like I think in No Other Choice, there is that struggle of like, you know, is all of the newness good?
Yeah.
Should we hold on? Was there something about the old that was like beautiful, that was tangible and real and special, that like we're giving up by just moving along with all of this stuff? And I think this movie does a similar thing. Like,
I kind of agree. Yeah.
Right.
There's a really good quote that one of the characters says towards the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote it down because it was so good. It was like, we're all just children pulling pins out of a Ferris wheel. To represent,
okay,
like,
that's too poetic. You gotta explain it to me.
It's so good because it's like they're uprooting all of these trees and they're impacting the whole environment, and like there are ripple effects to everything that they're doing. And so the idea of like we're all just children pulling pins out of a Ferris wheel, it's kind of like we're just messing around, and we won't see the cost of it until it's too late.
I know one day the whole Ferris wheel will
It's gonna fall apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there were like a lot of really good poetic lines like that too. That just
because they also have like lines like you know, something about the suffering and the toil these characters are going through and experiencing in their day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
Is like, what do you expect? Like, our job is to cut down all these things that have stood for 500 years.
Yeah.
You know, and so there's that whole idea of like the sacredness of nature and how as humans, like we just kind of like come in and bulldoze everything down. And but what's kind of like a nuance in this movie that I kind of appreciated is a lot of movies are like a straight man versus nature. But here it's like it's all connected is the idea. Right. And so humans are a part of that. Like we're part of that ecosystem. So it's a little bit more of a, we need to learn how to live with it and respect nature, and maybe cutting down trees is not the worst thing in the world, but we need to do it in a sustainable way, in a way that is respectful of
smart
nature.
Way, yeah.
But as things keep modernizing, like it just becomes like we don't care about any of that stuff, and it's just like numbers, efficiency, and we do it at a cost, right? So I kind of like that dynamic that they were playing with also.
Yeah. Is really good. They're just a lot of layers.
Yeah.
To kind of what's going on with his internal struggle and then later external struggle.
Yeah. And then like the whole struggle with like him having to go away for long stretches of time to go logging, and being away from his family, and being away from his newborn, and you know, so that whole struggle between like work and family, like that's there too.
Yeah. And then there's a ton of themes about death and grief.
Yes.
Which we'll get to.
Yes.
But
for sure. Okay, what about the performances? Like no Oscar noms for the performances. What do you think? Is that snub?
I was surprised. Yeah. I thought he did amazing. But again, it's such a stacked year.
Yeah.
Like Joel Edgerton, I thought he smashed it.
Yeah, he was really good.
But I guess there was too much competition.
Yeah. I mean, I also think Felicity Jones did a really good job also.
Yeah.
And I was like a big fan of her performance in Brutalist last year. So it's like back-to-back years. Like, man, I thought that she was really good in this too, and she didn't get a nom. William H. Macy was really good. I also really liked in this movie the kind of different characters that you meet along the journey. So
they feel so real.
Yeah.
I loved it.
There was like a little montage, and it had like these funny characters, and like one guy who built a house in a tree trunk, you know, and it's like, but it doesn't feel like they made it just for the movie. If it does feel like this kind of person is like real and it really happened.
Yeah. And you immediately get a feel for like who they are and what kind of person they are.
Yeah. And then there was like a guy who's like always talking the Bible, and I don't want to give away what happens to him, but like that was like a really funny thing too.
Yeah.
So they had a lot of fun characters, and the William H. Macy character was really good. To kind of balance off like Joel Edgerton, because Joel Edgerton is a little more reserved and stoic in his character.
Yeah.
And I think it was good to have like more of the personality in those side characters that he like comes across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he is very private as a person.
Yeah.
So he wasn't like ever, overly expressive. But there are a couple moments where it just felt really real. Like he
Yeah.
was trying. It was a layered performance because you could tell he was trying to not express something that he felt so deeply. And and then he feels embarrassment for expressing his deep emotion. And it was so layered. I thought it was great.
It was really good.
And then there's a shot where you can see the snot coming out of his nose.
Oh, really?
And it twinkles in the sunlight. And I was like, that's got to be real snot.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that's what I liked about this movie too. There's never a doubt that they're on location. They're really there.
Yeah.
They're in it. He's in the elements. And I think it was all shot in like less than 30 days.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I mean, going back to cinematography, like as I'm watching, I'm like, is this film? Like it looks so filmic, but it was digital because of the condensed production schedule timeline that they had.
Oh, I didn't
But
realize that.
I think the grade that they did, the color correction on it was so good
it looks like
that
film.
it really does look like film. And because it has that aspect ratio that's more like photography,
Yeah.
it just all works really well together.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So really good. I mean, would you recommend it?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I definitely would recommend this to most people.
Yeah, I would recommend it too. Yeah, like it was very noteworthy, I think, from this year.
I agree.
Okay, reveal. So you thought I would give it a 3.5 out of 5, and I gave it a 4.0.
Me too.
Oh, I thought you'd be higher. Come on, Jamie.
I'm so glad that you're higher than what I guessed.
No,
I never know with poetic stuff. I'm like, he might have hated it.
Yeah, I don't love just movies that are only trying to be poetry. And this one was teetering at points on that line.
Yeah.
But it ends up becoming like a real story.
Yeah.
And like
with real stakes.
With real stakes.
Yeah.
And so that all, then pushed it up to beyond just like, just looking at pretty images and a nice VO. Like if it was like that the whole movie, I think at a certain point I would have just been like, okay, this is too much. Like I'm bored of this now, know?
Yeah.
But they set the tone, and then like the story kept unfolding, and then it really pulls you in. So I thought it was really, really strong. It was one of my favorites of the year. It's definitely top 10, potentially top 5. Like, so I really liked it.
It's definitely top 10 for me too. But...
Okay. So spoilers now.
Yep.
I thought the best part of the movie was just like the emotional impact. And that's why it works for me, like beyond just the poetic element. Like it's a really heartbreaking story. And the whole thing of like, not only does he lose his family, or we think, right? But then he's like sitting there just waiting for them. Cause like, if he doesn't know where they are, like maybe they'll come back to that spot.
Just brutal.
And then he rebuilds the cabin?
Like exactly the same.
So that they would like recognize it? Yeah. And then it's like so much time has gone by that he's like, maybe his daughter's gonna come back and just from memory, and that's why he needs to look the same, as kind of what I got. And he's just like living in it, waiting, and trying to get through life. Man, that was brutal. It was heartbreaking.
It was.
Yeah, and then he's hearing voices. He knows that they're voices.
In many ways, it kind of reminded me of Hamnet.
Oh, yeah.
Because of those themes of grief and, feeling like you don't have this sense of closure.
Yeah.
Because his character never gets that. That was the most heartbreaking part for me, was that he never, finds any remains. He never knows for sure, like, what happened to them. I mean, I'm fairly confident that they did die, because they would have come back if they were still alive. Like, they would have, at some point, come back to see if
Yeah,
I don't know,
I
he
think
had
the
returned.
mom would have for sure,
Yeah.
but the daughter is interesting because what if she's like the mom died protecting the daughter?
Yeah.
The baby ends up getting found by somebody. They have no idea
That's true.
who the baby belongs
And
to.
then that girl that he
That
found in
girl
the
grows up,
woods.
yeah, like maybe she kind of remembers and starts looking and hearing stories, and it does kind of come back. So this is where the movie kind of, I thought
Dips.
I thought that tension of like, are they gonna come back? You're kind of holding out hope, just like he is, and
Yeah.
is really good at getting you to feel that.
Yeah.
And then, at least I was hoping,
Yeah,
right,
me
for
too.
that. And then you have the whole like, oh, she's there now. And he's like nursing her back to health or whatever. And then wakes up and she's gone. And he's like, goes
With
looking
a
for her.
broken leg. That was crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, how'd she climb through a window with a broken leg?
Yeah. I don't know. But like, he wakes up and he goes initially looking for her. And then a VO comes in. And it confirms that, oh, he went looking and she was just a phantom or something. Like, it essentially tells you that she was not real.
Oh, I didn't take it that way.
And to
I
me,
took it as he thought she was a phantom, but she might not have been. That's interesting.
But even the fact that if he thought that she was a phantom,
yeah,
that to me kills the whole like ambiguity that I want to live in. And I think it makes it more haunting that he never knows or has closure the rest of his life. Like if he kept going and looking for her, now that he thinks that maybe he was, and it's was she real or not that would drive him crazy. Not even oh, she was real, I just need to find her now.
The thing is he wasn't really driven crazy.
I know.
That's what was so interesting.
I know, and I'm maybe that's me wanting too much drama. Maybe. And like grief is natural part of like the human experience, and it doesn't always drive us to madness, but
I think that was the hopeful piece of this movie, is that he still somehow had hope to hold on to, even though he could have gone mad just from grief and being completely alone for the most part. Like,
but then it gets to, because you see him meet this woman, right? And they both share this connection of
that's such a good scene.
Yeah, that was really good. And of course the romantic in me is like, oh, I hope they get together, right? They seem like
I didn't really want them to.
Yeah, and I'm glad they didn't. I think that was the right choice. But there's like, I want him to get some kind of reprieve, some kind of hope of like some thing in the future that's gonna help him to be able to move on.
Yeah.
But then the ending of like, oh, he found this one moment of bliss in this airplane, to me was such a downer. It's like, oh, so okay, I get what it's going for, like, oh, but in this one moment he was flying, kind of thing. But that's so depressing when you think about it. Like, so then he got off the plane and he went right back to that cabin and just like for the rest of his life just stay stuck in this pain and misery. And it's like, it's already such a downer that I'm like, okay, if we're going with that, just let it be ambiguous. He doesn't know, and he just fully is in it, like to give him this like false victory that means nothing at the end of the day.
I disagree.
It's like he was so sad and alone, but one day he had this amazing bowl of ice cream, and in that moment he was in bliss.
I don't think it was
pain.
But it wasn't one moment. It wasn't one moment.
It wasn't?
No, because he says that the narrator says that he would go to Spokane like regularly, and he would just like be in society and he'd take the train. And that was like his little adventures that he'd go on. And then one day he decided to like take the airplane. And then my husband pointed out, like, when the pilot says hold on to something, that is like him trying to hold on to anything, And so that's when he has all these flashbacks of like things that he can hold on to, like emotionally. And I think that is more of what the director was going for, of like, even in complete grief, isolation, we still have things that we can hold on to. And holding on to hope is worth it.
Yeah, so hope in what? Hope in...
I mean, in the flashbacks, he's got like hope in mainly love, and then like flashbacks of his wife and his child, and just like, knowing that their love had an impact and keeps going even after death, even beyond death.
Yeah.
And
I mean, but I think that's looking back. So I don't see that as a hope thing. I think that's just he's being comforted by the love that he's experienced and remembering that.
yeah, but I guess it becomes hope because it allows him to
Find that again.
find happiness in the midst of grief. And it's sort of like hopeful in that
Like
he can still
move on, and
he can still live.
I guess I felt like his current existence felt more like he was stuck and trapped, that he was actually living. You know, it's kind of the idea in like Shawshank Redemption of like, yeah, you can leave, you can break out of the walls of the prison, but if you don't know how to actually live, like you're just walking around like a ghost, right? That's what it seemed like he was in. Like he would go to town, but he's just a ghost. Like people would just whisper about, did you know that was the guy that, you know? And he's just going through life. He's not really interacting with anyone. And that's why like when he makes a connection with this woman, it's like, oh, that's cool. Like he's able to make a human connection. But that doesn't seem like that ever continues or materializes to anything. Like, so he goes back to his world and then, you know, to see the world continuing to move on, you know, like, they go to the airplane thing, and they go to space, and he's like, what's happening, right? He doesn't even understand. Like, he has no concept of what's happening in the real world.
But I think that he chooses to be involved in the real world when he starts taking train rides to Spokane. Like, I think that is him deciding not to be a ghost anymore. Okay. From my viewing experience.
Okay. I guess that just didn't land for me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was too subtle of a, and so I just took it as like, he's basically still stuck and trapped. And I thought it was like, maybe is it hope in that his daughter will still come back to him? But the VO seemed to kill that like potential. So then it was like, okay, now he's just existing. And it seemed like he just gets this one moment of reprieve in this airplane. Whereas to me, it's like, that just is like that's like a false victory, you know.
Interesting.
It didn't land like as particularly meaningful or hopeful, because it was like, if that's the only moment that the narrator is telling me that he got, like, oh no, so then he went back to being miserable once he got off that airplane.
I mean,
the narrator, so depressing.
The narrator does say that he took trips to Spokane like often. Okay. So it wasn't like a one-time thing.
Okay.
But I think, like, I get where you're coming from, because I ultimately landed at a 4 because it sort of ended in a not so climactic, touching way for me personally.
Oh, so even the airplane moment wasn't as touching for you either then?
Yeah, I think like it was a good way to end a story that has such ambiguity. And I can't see a better way to do it, really. Mm-hmm. But for me personally, I think it didn't completely resonate with me.
Yeah.
And I can totally understand how, if someone is able to resonate with this character or this story, like, they would give it a 5. Like, I completely understand that.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was just completely subjective.
Yeah, and maybe that is where the difference lies. Like, I have not experienced that kind of grief.
Me neither.
Where someone that close to me has, like, I've lost them. And I mean, I've had some stuff like that, but like nothing to his level for sure. And so maybe if you have experienced that, then like, it's not a false victory. You know, like, the living and being able to find something to keep you going and
being
to survive
able to live
is the victory, right?
Courageous, yeah.
Whereas for me, like, as someone who's been, you know, I guess it will eventually, I'll experience those things, but I guess because I'm naive about that, maybe that's where it doesn't feel like it's powerful enough, or you know, like, I wanted more. And maybe that's too idealistic of a mentality to think like, oh, you could you could go through what he went through and be like, yeah, I'm ready to get back on with life and, you know, get remarried and, you know, like, all it just, that's probably way too naive and idealistic, right? And so I think that's one area. But I guess because what you were saying is helpful, like, because that moment didn't hit as powerfully, it actually made me want to feel like, well, if that's not going to hit, just make it a tragedy and make it ambiguous, make him kind of feel like he doesn't know what reality is. He's losing more and more touch, you know.
That wouldn't be a satisfying ending, though.
But it would have been like more
It
satisfying.
would have felt
in,
like no ending.
I think it would have been more satisfying in that it actually goes either up or down. Like it doesn't kind of feel like it's flat. You know, it ends up in the same place. So I think that's what I was wanting. Like, didn't go up
I guess
enough.
so.
So I was like, just take him more down.
No, no, that would have been horrible.
I mean, it would have been really sad, but it was already so gut wrenching
Yeah.
that it was like,
I think we have to talk about, now that we're on the subject of death,
yeah,
we have to talk about the deaths in the movie
okay.
because that was such
there
a
are
big.
multiple.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
So the first death he ever witnesses is the Chinese man getting murdered for basically no reason.
Yeah.
That the main character can see.
Yeah, it was racism.
Yeah, that's the only assumption we can make.
Yeah.
And so the main character sees this senseless act and now is followed by his ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yes.
Now, before you get to the other deaths, I thought that was a cool element.
Yeah.
I just think like it felt underbaked because it just drops away.
It was confusing for me because I didn't know exactly what he was feeling every time he saw that ghost.
So I took it as guilt.
For not saving him?
Yes. For
okay.
He saw something was going down and he's like, what are they doing? Why are they messing with this guy? And he just stands there and then lets that guy get taken away and then later sees that he gets killed.
Yeah.
Right? He's dead. So I think he's haunted by, I should have done something.
Yeah.
I could have maybe done something. And so he's haunted by that guilt. In the context of like this, yeah, there were a lot of Chinese, immigrants and whatever that were working on, the railroads and all that kind of stuff. And so this would have been a very common like point of friction, right?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they put that in there, but then it just goes away. And once his personal storyline kind of kicks in with his family and the loss of his family, like it just like it never comes back to that at all, right?
Right.
And so that's where I felt like it was underbaked, where it set something up and it never really quite. But maybe
so
it's
I think
because
it wasn't trying to set up that problem. I think it was trying to just set up senseless death. Because as the story continues, characters keep dying in
like
very
the other loggers and stuff.
Yeah, in very like random abrupt ways that you can't even prepare for it.
Yeah.
And when they're burying all the bodies, they're just kind of like, well, we have to keep working. So let's move on, guys. We can't just sit around mourning all day. Like people need trees. And you see that kind of mentality as they go on, is that they just don't have time to process it. They don't have time to really like grieve it. And then when his friend Art dies by getting hit on the head with a tree branch, it's kind of like revenge or something.
Yeah.
That's when he first experiences like a personal death. And you see how everyone else has like just moved on and he's like, whoa. Like we're moving on so quickly. And like, this was a person that impacted me. And so I really liked the theme of how death feels completely meaningless, but at the same time, so meaningful to certain people.
Yeah.
And it was kind of this theme of both of those ideas. It feels strange that something could be so meaningful and yet so meaningless to someone else. I mean, we talk all the time about like celebrities who die.
Yeah.
We're just like, oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't have a direct impact on us unless it's
like
personal to us.
Yeah, like that's someone's dad or
but we don't think about it.
Son or or sister. Yeah.
We're just kind of like, oh, okay, move on. And yeah, so that was just interesting, like movies allow us to kind of like really empathize more with death and characters and
yeah, I mean the reason why I like when movies kind of address these themes is not because it makes me so much care about this fictitious character who died, but it's because it reminds me, oh, I should not take for granted the hours and days that I get with the
Mm.
people close to me, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it like you watch a really sad story of someone like a Hamnet or whatever, and then you look to your spouse or to your kid and be like, oh, I love you, you know?
Yeah.
Because it makes you reflect on then your life and what this character found to be important. It reminds you and pulls you back to those things, right?
Yeah.
So I always appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in this movie, like it starts, I like what you're saying about how it's like you see the deaths as one continuation
Yeah.
of like part of a sequence together to be taken together. And there is a point in the back end where I think is when he meets that woman that she says like it's all connected, and it's like the idea, it's like the dead and the living are still like co-present, right?
Yeah, she says that line, a dead tree is as important as a living one.
Yeah. And so the fact that some people just move on is they see a dichotomy of like the dead are dead, they're gone. There's no point in like it's very Hamnet, right? It's like there's no point in dwelling on that. Like just get on with
Just
your
move
life.
on.
Yeah. But this mentality is more like the dead continue to live, even if it's in the memory or of the loved ones or whatever. But even like the fact that he's hearing voices, like it makes it mean something more than just hearing voices. Like it's almost like their voices are still present, and you know their presence is still like in our space, you know, in our air. Like it's that kind of idea, and it makes it feel so much more like the afterlife, whatever that might be, or the spiritual realm, whatever that might be, you know, like all those things and the physical, like we focus too much on this, but it's all connected, you know, similar to nature and humanity and technology. Like these things are all so intertwined, but we always want to have these hard lines and divisions. And that's where it gets interesting. And this is why I would think I wanted that ambiguity. I wanted him to not really know that she was a phantom or not. You know, like it was almost like he was
I mean,
bringing,
he didn't.
Yeah, but but the fact that VO just to me was too conclusive, because it was almost like his longing for her is bringing her back. You know, like he is making her materialize. And it's like she is really there because he's so in tune and connected. Then that changes my perspective, because then now he's not stuck in the past. It's like, no, he's actually connected to the other side and is able to like live with her still now in his present life.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's like a different kind of
I'd have to go back and listen to
Matrix
that
type
part.
of like way of seeing the world, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that part of this movie is kind of interesting. It doesn't quite put it all together, but the pieces are there that I think is really interesting.
Yeah. One more note I want to say is my husband pointed out that he loved the main character's meek masculinity and how it was like a really good example. Because like, you think lumberjack.
Yeah.
That's like the most masculine thing possible, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, he's got a beard. He like looks manly.
Manly.
But he's such a meek character. And he's so kind and gracious. Like that scene, this is after his wife and kid die in the fire. He goes back to logging and he has this conversation with another old man and ties his shoe for him. And it's just such a sweet moment of like, here, let me help you. Even though I'm in pain and I am suffering, I'm still going to reach out and be kind. And anyway, it's just a really good example of how even very masculine men can be kind and gracious in spite of suffering. And they don't have to resort to anger, rage, bitterness. I don't know what other attributes you'd prescribe, but yeah.
You know, I did this one video shoot that was for like a startup axe, like it was an artisanal axe company.
Whoa.
It was so hipster. It was like run by hipsters and whatever. They got like some special wood and hand carved every like handle and handmade like every blade and all that stuff. So after we did the shoot for them, they gifted us an axe, like a full
Nice.
axe. Yeah. And that thing was like so cool. And I don't know, there's something I held it and I just felt so manly. I wanted to go and chop down a tree. but yeah, so maybe it shows restraint that for him he's like, oh, I'll just do this thing, and he's just he's doing it more as like I'm in nature, like it's like a guy going golfing,
Well, it was his lifestyle, like, or his livelihood.
Yeah, but he doesn't take it as like a macho thing.
No.
He does it in a way that's it just feels very connected, I guess. And that's why when later like these young guys are coming with just chainsaws and just like,
get out of the way, old man.
Yeah, he's kind of like, oh man, there's just something about that doesn't appeal to him, right? Like he could have grabbed a chainsaw, but it's like it doesn't feel like, it's just something about that holding the wood and the feeling of like the chop through the thing and that makes him appreciate like what he's doing. I don't know.
Yeah, he's not trying to prove anything to anyone. Yeah. He's not trying to be the best logger in the group.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
he's not like trying to like race or be
he's
like
just doing his job.
Yeah.
To make money for his wife and kid. Like, it's very admirable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. No, it was really, he was a really good character. The performance was great. And that's what makes it so heartbreaking. You know, when he loses them. Because you just know so much how much they were his everything.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't about the work, right? Like that was just to sustain everything.
Yeah. And they had dreams. Oh, okay. No more.
Dreams on a train.
More. Dreams on a train.
Is this this is adapted? Is it adapted from a poem? Or is
it like a novella.
Oh, okay. Have you read it?
No, I want to.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be curious. I would imagine it would feel very similar to this movie. Like this movie probably did a really good job of capturing like the vibe, I'm guessing. Do you think it's going to win anything?
It has to win cinematography.
Right? And it has to, come on. That has to be a lock, right? Yeah. I mean, I know One Battle is really good with cinematography too, but this was...
I feel like One Battle had really good sequences.
It had good shots.
Yeah, but this one, it was like from front to back.
Yes, I agree.
It was great.
Trade James for cinematography.
Come on. Let's do it.
All right. Well, if you watched it, let us know what you thought.
And you can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, or Letterboxd.
And join us next time as we continue our quest for the 5th star.